Welcome again to the Thursday night Play Space Live. Keith Avalone from Play Games. Samuel is running the board as usual, our executive producer for the stream tonight. Baseball America is celebrating its 10th anniversary in 2022, and tonight it's the all-decade team reveal and free download. A little background information on how this set came to be. Last year sometime, I don't remember who it was. I should have made a note, but there was somebody who emailed me and said that what they'd done with they bought the 1985 pro season for History Maker Baseball, and they had downloaded the free All-Star Game cards that we have on the website, on the free stuff page. And they told me that they were mixing in the All-Star cards with their regular card sets, sort of, indicate who the All-Stars were, kind of make this set really special. I thought, that's pretty neat. And that thought occurred to me as we were putting together the 10th anniversary Baseball America cards, the standard cards, the black and white standard release cards. And I thought, why don't I make some cards that are, reminiscent of the 85 All-Star cards with some color in it, and we'll name the All-Decade team for Baseball America since it's celebrating its 10th anniversary. So that's the concept behind this this card set is you're going to swap them into your 2022 card set as a way to sort of commemorate the anniversary and honor the players who have contributed to our fictional baseball legacy. People have been a key part of the decade of baseball that we've presented at Play Games. So the active players on the All-Decade team, the cards that they have are their 2022 cards. Now this means that some guys are kind of at the end of their career. So, like Matt Hubstack, who's an unsigned free agent at the start of the 2022 season, and he doesn't have a terrific card, certainly not the kind of card that he had earlier in his career, but that's the card he gets for the all-decade set, because you're going to put Matt on somebody's team, and you'll remember you'll be reminded that he's an all-decade player by his special color card. Okay, so that's the concept behind the ratings on the cards. Now, we actually want to naming 3 different all-decade teams, first team, second team, and a third team. And then there are a number of other players who are included in the download who have played all 10 Baseball America seasons. They may not be, stars, everyday players, but they did participate in each of the 10 seasons, so we included them in the all-decade team download. They're not on an all-decade team, but they are part of the package. There are 3 different sets. They're color-coded. The first team all-decade squad has their names in red. The second team players have their names in blue. The third team players have their names in gray, and then the all-decade participants have regular black and white cards with a color logo. So that is the premise here, and now we're just going to go through and reveal them. Let's go to the game cam. I should mention one other thing. There are a few retired players in the all-decade set, and for those players, we did use their career status. I guess I should have probably talked about how the players were chosen before I start revealing them. Here are our 4 piles. I probably spent more time on this than I should have, given how busy we are. But, it's interesting history, going back to all these different card sets and looking at the players. Basically, though, I looked at the records that I have, and I put a premium on longevity. The players that played 10 or 9 seasons, I mean, it is an all-decade team, so I wanted players who played most or all of the decade. So that was probably the first consideration on making the all-decade teams. And the second, of course, was how good they were. That really more played into whether they made third team, second team, or first team. There probably will be some second guessing going on after we reveal these teams. But that's part of baseball too, right? When all-star teams are chosen, when Hall of Fame players are named, there's always the discussion whether they deserve it or not. So without further ado, let's look at the all-decade participants. I'm just going to quickly scroll through these. These are just the players who are not all-stars, did not make a team, but they did play all 10 seasons. We have Robbie Cox, Tony O'Hara. These are all grouped by position. Scooter Morris, Deshaun Johnson, Adam Gorman, Ernesti Gallegos, Chris Page, Tracy Reddy, Craig Van Gelder, lots of pitching. Francisco Torres, Donnie Lee Gross. Some of these names I'm sure will be familiar. Robbie Pulaski. There's Aaron Walston, who is still playing. He's on Team 4 this year. Cesar Trevino is on Team 10. And Duncan Otto, who is a unclaimed free agent. So those are all the players who did not make an all-decade team, but nonetheless played all 10 seasons of Baseball America. Now let's go to the all-decade third team. We're going to do this. We'll just reveal them by position, starting with the position players. And we named 4 relief pitchers and 4 starting pitchers for each all-decade team, and then a position player for each position. We did not name a designated hitter. And I will say for the third team, we expanded, I think, to 5 outfielders and maybe 5 pitchers as well. So our first baseman on the all-decade third team, Todd Sargent, playing for Team 11 this year. His career is kind of winding down a little bit. At second base, Eusebio Felix, the Great Glove. Not so much a hitter, although he has had some good hitting seasons. Second baseman, Eusebio Felix. Third baseman, Trevor Boston, playing on Team 1, the Minutemen this year. He's a outline star. Looks like he's going to get, some time. But he is still active. At shortstop, we have Kurt Raish. Not a great player. He's had some good seasons where he's been a decent glove. I don't think he's ever been too much of a hitter, but he has played consistently. Catcher is Tony Mazza, who looking at an off year this year for sure. But in his earlier days, he was quite the power hitter. Brian Sobro in the outfield. Our outfielder crew includes Brian Sobro, Ramon Cruz, Esteban Moreland, Vaughn Smith. Now let's get to the pitching staff. Actually, I think there's one more outfielder here. Yes, Rosario Hill made the all-decade third team. Now let's go to the pitching staff. Starting pitchers include Brent Carlin, who is still on the mound, pitching for Team 5 this year. Incidentally, Brent Carlin's card in the original set, the standard set, his experience. Bear Marathu emailed me and said that his experience is blank on that set. It should be an icon. I will fix that. Brent Carlin, Jonathan Petrie, Fernando De La Rosa. Now, we did kind of make an exception for Fernando. Certainly is one of the better pitchers and has had a stellar career, but he pitched this is his 6th season. So we moved him down in the hierarchy, but he will probably be on the all-decade first team for the next decade of Baseball America, I'm going to guess. But he is on the 3rd team for the all-decade squad. Angel Zuramillo. Charlie Guerrero. Charlie was quite the story a couple of years ago. He got wore out his arm, took a season off where he was unclaimed, and then came back and started pitching really well again later in his career. He is now retired, but he is all-decade 3rd team. Lenny Mahler has been fireballing it ever since the very beginning. He's had some up and down seasons. Justin Beckwell from the bullpen. Melito Melendez. John Sundberg. Still on the mound. Not going to have a great year, I don't think, in 2022 with semi-struggler, semi-workman. He's pitching for Team 12 this year. And Ian Athenson. Tina Rodriguez. So that is our 3rd team all-decade squad. Let's go to the 2nd team. And again, we will flip them over like we did before. Starting with first base. First baseman is Ricky Roynell, playing for Team 5 this year. He's had some pretty awesome seasons. Not poorly rated in 2022 either. Still hitting pretty well. At second base, Kent Bruner, who's now retired, the big-hitting son of a gun. Home run king whiffer. That's pretty. He has had the slugger quality on his card off and on. He's our starting second baseman for the 2nd team all-decade squad. Remy Cardoso at third base. Also still active. Also still pretty productive. Jorge Gonzalez. Shortstop was a little iffy. There's been a lot of movement across the league through the 10 years that it's been around. And not a lot of really consistent shortstop stars. Jorge Gonzalez has played all 10 seasons and has had, he's not been spectacular, but he has been very solid. And we named him 2nd team all decade at shortstop. At third base, third base was Remy Cardoso. Solomon Horn is the catcher. He is also now retired. He had many productive seasons, especially early in his career. Romero Yadier is in the outfield. He is winding down his career with Team 2 this year. Semi-usage of the outline usage star. Kind of was signed to Team 2 for veteran influence. But had some spectacular seasons early on, especially. He's been playing pretty well, really, for most of the decade. Gary Mosby in the outfield. Unclaimed free agent this year. You can put him on your team if you'd like. Mike St. Clair, still hitting the ball out of the park for Team 6 this year. He's our 2nd team all-decade outfielder, along with Steve Van Gorder. And now we go to this pitching staff. Starting pitchers include Max Murphy, who's been pretty consistently good. A little starting to decline in his skills. Melito Ortiz, who is both these guys are unsigned free agents for this year. There's Paul Fiala, who's had a long and storied career in Baseball America, up and down. Has had some good years, though, especially recently. And Trini Pimentel, who I remember when Trini Pimentel was a rookie, and he was like one of those up-and-comers. Then he sort of tailed off. He had a little arm trouble, and he's come back and is still throwing it pretty hard. He's on the starting staff of the all-decade 2nd team, along with, let's go to the relievers, Felix Biancalana, Yosu Blanco, Steve Hubbard in the bullpen, and Harvey Nixon, all-decade 2nd team. And now, the big honors. First team all-decade Baseball America, here we go. We will start with Matt Hubstack at first base. He is a unclaimed free agent for 2022. Hopefully he'll be able to find a squad. I did I confess, I didn't want to give Matt Hubschek a bad card, so for the all-decade team, I gave him a career card. So if you do want to, because it'd be kind of cool to have him sign with a team and, do really well. So feel free to sub in this card of Matt Hubschek if you'd like to have him wind out his career on a high note. His card that comes with the set is not as strong. Manny Facero, our all-decade first-team second baseman, he is going to be a beast for 2022 at the top of his game and has been playing well for a long while. At shortstop, yes, the one and only Johnny Fortune. And another guy who's really playing well, semi-champion, slugger, playing for Team 2 this year. Gold fielder and semi-active, still cranking it. At third base, Kurt Swarns, the big-hitting bomber who retired last year. I remember looking over the career statistics that have been compiled on him, and he's hit a lot of home runs over his career. And so he is our all-decade third baseman. You might want to. You might. I won't mind if you sneak him in for a couple games for some team, late in the pennant push or something. At catcher, Damaso Aceves, who's really wasn't too difficult a decision to make him the all-decade catcher. Although I believe he was a rookie in 2015, so he's played 8 of the 10 seasons, but he's been pretty solid, if not spectacular, for all of those seasons. Going to the outfield, we've got, future Hall of Famer Josh Bell, who has just been tremendously productive his entire career. Vince Hairston, the speedy ones, lost a little bit of speed, starting to slow down a little bit, but has been one of the top producers in the league for many, many years. Mike Kettle, big hitting outfielder, many home runs for Big Mike. And now we get to the pitching staff. We'll start with Xavier Colon, who is still hurling it. Team 10 this year, semi-ace. Steve Show, of course, a familiar name in Baseball America annals. Fumi Suzuki, who retired last year, but was reviewing his cards for the 9 years that he did pitch. Pretty consistently strong. So he is the third member of our starting pitching staff. And then Wally Ballard is the fourth starter for the all-decade first team. Now we go to the bullpen. There's the heat seeker, Todd Hampa. He's on Team 10 this year. Not quite the heat that he's had earlier in his career, but still effective. Julio Jose, pitching for Team 7 this year. Steve Radoshinsky, familiar name for Baseball America junkies. And finally, Chick Schramm is the final member of the bullpen, who's had, I remember at least one season where he was the featured card image on the Baseball America webpage, pitching for Team 1 this year. So there you go. Those are your all-decade teams. The download for this set will be available as soon as we sign off. It'll be on the free stuff page of the Play Classic website for History Maker Baseball. You can download it, and again, we suggest that you the idea behind it is that you'll swap these cards in with your card set and sort of commemorate the season as you play it out. Other quick news before we sign off for this evening. Binge Week Racing is in the books. We shipped out the last Red, White, and Blue Racing back-ordered playmat this morning to Steven Sisson in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So those are finally all out. We are going to hold off putting the mats back on sale, however, because we don't want to sell out of them again. In the interim, between the time they sold, I think they sold out like 12 hours after we put them on sale. And that's kind of, I thought we were ordering more than we needed. Obviously, I was wrong. But then we created a wait list, and now the wait list exceeds the number of mats that we got on the second order. So we're going to order again, and should be another couple weeks. and then we will put the red, white, and blue racing play mats on sale for everybody. It didn't make much sense. I didn't feel it made much sense to put them on sale and sell out of what we had again quickly. Rather, I figured we'd wait until everybody can get their mat. So that's the story on the red, white, and blue racing play mats. We will have them available here in a couple weeks. Wrestling America Federation 2023 is finished. We are ready to roll with that set. It is based on the Commissioner's Edict series that we ran last fall. We talked about that in our news stream last week. We'll have the web page up either tomorrow or over the weekend, probably tomorrow. Got the web text written. I also completed the intro text, kind of spelling out, there are always a couple cards in the Wrestling America Federation set that need a little bit of explanation as to how to work their boutique ratings. So that's all on the intro sheet. There's a roster that'll be listed on the web page. So all that will go up either tomorrow, most likely tomorrow, otherwise Saturday. And then the card set itself will go on sale either next week or the week after. We're a little bit fuzzy about the actual release date. We're trying to mesh it with the release of the 10th anniversary Baseball America cards, the full color baseball trading card size commemorative edition of the card set for Baseball America, on which the production of which we are leaning on our new print equipment, and the status on that is unfortunately unchanged. We had the delivery, the tech guy from Konica Minolta came by on Tuesday and to do our installation. And the first thing he said when he got here is, "Where's the rest of your unit?" It's like, well, we thought we got our whole unit. No, you're missing part of the unit. So part of our unit was not delivered to us, and now it's scrambling to figure out, on their part, to figure out where is that unit and how can we get it to them quickly as possible. So we're still waiting. I'm going to get an email or a phone call in tomorrow to see what the status is. The tech guy told us, look, it's going to be at least until next Monday before we're going to be able to install this. So we'll hopefully have an update next week on that. So as of right now, most of the equipment is in our basement, but we're not able to do anything with it at this point. And that's why if they come Monday, we'll have the Baseball America cards by the end of the week. I mean, they're basically just ready to print and cut and ship, but we can't print them at this point. So that's where we're at with that. So if we don't get our print equipment this week, we'll release Wrestling America Federation next week. If we do get it, we'll do Baseball America next week and Wrestling America Federation the week after. Is that clear enough? Clear as mud, right? Apologies for the fuzziness. We're doing the best we can. We don't know half the time what's going on with this stuff. We are officially in for Denver Starfest 2022, collection of festivals, actually. There's a bunch of different festivals. We are part of Game Fest at Starfest. So if you're in the Denver area, please check us out, and maybe you can plan on joining us. That'll be May 13th through the 15th. We are planning to launch our latest Play Now game live at Starfest on May 13th. We'll have more details on that coming up. And that is all we have for tonight. Thanks for watching our show. We appreciate your viewership. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. And next Thursday, we're going to do our Ted Lasso episode where AFC Richmond will attempt to avoid relegation by playing Man City, starring Jamie Tart, in Soccer Blast. And we'll have those cards available for you as well. That'll be next Thursday night, our Ted Lasso Soccer Blast extravaganza. Don't miss that next week on the Play Space Live. Till then, have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next week here on the Play Games YouTube channel.